Today I'm doing a podcast shoot over here at Vail headquarters. So back during COVID, I did a podcast with Rebecca Farnbach. She is the historian here in Temecula and is one of the original founders of creating Vail headquarters here. So I'm going to do a short little film and do some footage of the buildings, as well as talk to Rebecca and catch up with her since, years ago when we did the podcast. Hi, this is Carolina with Temecula Town Podcast, and today I am here with Rebecca Farnbach.
Hi.
Hello. We are here at Vail headquarters. She happens to have been one of the original founders of restoring this place. So her and her husband, unfortunately he had passed a few years ago, but they were both a part of restoring Vail headquarters. And Rebecca, let us know what's going on with Vail headquarters. What new events, what happened since COVID, since we did the last podcast?
We have a lot going on here. And as you know, we are just delighted that this is now open as a center for our community, for lots of activities. We have things going on for children. We have our kiddie train that the Historical Society runs. We have a lot of fun events that include children, balloons, jump houses, and things like that. We also have things for men who are car enthusiasts, or women who are car enthusiasts too. And we have live music. So lots of events all the time. Every week, farmers market, which is a wonderful event. I recommend it. It's a small scale farmers market, but you have all the essentials. One thing that I just have to shout about, because I'm so happy, this location, Vail headquarters, is now a National Historic Site.
Woo!
Yes. So we opened to the public after renovation in 2016, July of 2016. And it was June of 2023 that the Department of Interior of the United States declared us a National Historic Site. And if that's not enough, the trail that goes through is part of the National Overland Butterfield Historic Trail. It represents the trail, because that is the actual trail going through.
Right, I remember you mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, that the Butterfield mail, which was really the first reliable mail delivery to California, came through right here on this road.
Well, congratulations on that recognition. Is there like a plaque, or, maybe we can see that later?
We have a plaque, and we're working on putting more commemorative signage up also. So we're excited. If you are on Interstate 15, you see a National Park Service brown sign.
I've seen
pointing this way.
Yeah, I'll try to get footage on that, so that way it'll be a part of the video. But yeah, that's a good idea. I should probably just go over there, drive over there, and I probably can't stop for long, but
you might need a passenger in the car to do that.
Drive like 30 miles an hour.
Right.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that too. That's
so
really,
much.
really cool. Let's talk about the car meets. I've been here a few times for those.
Right.
So you have like the VW car meet, and also the
Us Versus Them puts on a huge muscle car. Oh my goodness, I should know better how to speak about it, but I don't. People who are really into those cars know the right terminology, but I'm just going to say Vail headquarters is full of all these beautifully restored and accessorized vehicles, and we get a lot of people out. In fact, our historic site can't contain all the cars.
I noticed. Yeah, that's so cool.
Part of the parking lot out in front is cordoned off to allow more of the parking.
Well, it's cool that it's like very popular, and you have to like carry the cars over into the rest of the shopping center. I mean, one day I think that event is just going to take over the whole shopping center. They're going to probably have to close Kohl's and Walmart. Anyways, I'm kidding. But that's really cool. Yeah, and I know there's like festivities happening all the time,
Yes.
like for the fall and for the winter. So I'm just so happy that it's finally getting so vibrant. With the closures years ago, it's just day and night, and I'm just excited that this venue is still happening, and people love it. People love coming to the ranch and just like having this like cool little novelty in between these big box stores. Who would have known that they're like here? So it's really cool. All right, so we're headed out here to do a little tour with Rebecca. She's gonna show us around here. I've been here many times, but Rebecca knows the more historical part of things. Very, very knowledgeable.
This little courtyard, you imagine this once was Ramona Wolf's little chicken yard that she had. This is her house, and it's between her house and the hotel rooms over here on the Wolf store.
Very nice. It's so nice and cool in here. Temecula gets like 190 degrees in the summer, but right here it just seems like it's like 75 right now.
These trees are really lovely. The trees were planted during the restoration, like in 2016. They were donated by a local person who has a tree farm. We lost a big tree. It just was over 100 years old, and one day we came and it had toppled over just spontaneously, and we're so glad to have this lovely shade.
Yeah, it almost looks like some type of like, I want to say, rubber tree, but rubber trees are a lot bigger.
I'm trying to think of the name of these trees, and I'm just not recalling it at the moment. But they are the same type as the tree that we lost that was over 100 years old, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's nice in here. So Ramona's house was over, you mentioned it was part of the cookhouse.
It was the center part of the cookhouse.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So Ramona's she was it's the book, right? The fictional book by Virginia, what's her name? Woolf or no, not
Helen
Woolf.
Hunt Jackson.
Helen Hunt, excuse me.
Okay,
Yeah.
there are so many stories to tell about that. I mean, it's amazing. And we could take 2 hours talking about Ramona Wolf, Helen Hunt Jackson, and so on. But what I'd like to say is we believe that some of the first permanent dwellings were by the Wolf family, or resided in. Okay, let's go back in time. Let's go out to the trail. I have to organize my thinking by
Yes, we're so like scattered here.
Okay.
But well,
So here is the historic trail, the Butterfield Overland Historic Trail, and here is the plaque that you were asking about.
oh, nice. So this is the original Butterfield.
Butterfield Overland Historic Trail, which has been a national trail since January 1st of 2023. It goes all the way from Tipton, Missouri to San Francisco. But imagine, this segment of the trail was so significant. It was also part of the only year-round route to the gold fields back in 1849. So when people were coming to find California gold up in central and northern California, they couldn't come across the Great Plains and go straight west. They had to find in the wintertime a more southerly route because of snow and the mountains.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, so we had literally thousands of people come through here. Now that was before Lewis and Ramona Wolf were here. Back in the day, let's see, during the Butterfield era then, which was 1858 to 1861, the Butterfield mail stop was on the other side of the creek. So you can see where the white car is parked there.
Yeah.
It's the creek is on the other side of that car, and that was one of only 3 places on the Temecula Creek that didn't have quicksand. They didn't have bridges. There wasn't enough horse and wagon traffic to support building a bridge. That would take a lot of time and effort. So they just looked for places where they could ford the stream. And there you go. That was one of the 3 places that could be forded. So then people would come, and I often depict it as coming this way on the trail, but of course there was traffic both ways.
Okay,
Right.
that makes sense.
So when I tell the third grade students who come out here about the travels, I depict it for them. And I tell them that people are weary and they're coming down the trail and they are like really worn out. They're tired. They've been traveling since Texas and haven't had a bed to sleep in. They've been on
and then they could just go to the hotel over here.
Starting in about 1867, Lewis and Ramona Wolfe were here. And they took over a store. The store here was built by someone else. And then these became the hotel rooms. This became their home. And this was the general store and post office. Let's go closer and we can peek inside the window here to see the hotel as it's set up.
Yeah, can I go on this?
Yes.
Is that okay? Okay. Oh, there we go. So it was pretty simple. There was a bed, a chest, and a chest, some artwork.
Obviously there wasn't a light bulb. That was added later, but what you see there are the very primitive things that would have been in a hotel room. Right. As an Eagle Scout project, one of the boys decided to make the benches that match what we see in historical photographs and the stoops or the steps that go up into there. So, right. So this, the cookhouse was Lewis and Ramona's home, but later on it was built onto just the central core, like not this wing. We believe that this wing was actually a schoolhouse.
Oh, okay.
Can you see the picture of that roof? It kind of matches what the old one-room schoolhouses had.
Yeah.
And in a historic drawing of this place, we see a building that matches, that was behind the Wolfe store. So we believe that when Walter Vail purchased the property in 1905, that they moved this building to attach it to give them a little bit more room. And then this became the Cowboy Dining Hall or Cookhouse. So I've mentioned the different phases of history. First we had, the Butterfield and the Gold Rush, and now we have Lewis and Ramona Wolfe, and I mentioned Walter Vail. Well, what really happened was this. This was the town of Temecula, because you've got the general store, post office, right? Mm-hmm. And you've got the road. Notice I said the road. There weren't any other roads.
Right.
And it was just worn down from foot traffic and, horses and wagons and so on. Well, in 1882, railroad tracks were put 2.5 miles to the northwest. There was nothing there, just the railroad tracks. But that required either walking 2.5 miles to get here or to hire a horse and wagon to get here from we call it Old Town now, but back then they called it the New Town of Temecula.
Right. This is the real Old Town right here.
Really, this is the beginning of anything except I want to remember the native people who were here prior to all of this, prior to other people coming. This was a huge settlement of native people who, of course, are still with us. And we're very pleased that we're part of the community together. Pechanga has a very big presence. Well, let's talk about that for just a minute. So Helen Hunt Jackson, the author of the book Ramona, actually came and spent a couple of days here with Lewis and Ramona Wolfe. Helen Hunt Jackson was on a mission to tell the U.S. Congress about the treatment of the native people in the Southwest United States. And while she was here, Ramona Wolfe, who was half Chumash from the Santa Barbara region, was acquainting her with the things that had happened here, including the eviction. Now, I have mixed feelings about the eviction. Of course, I'm very sad, but it's strange that Ramona Wolfe was telling Helen Hunt Jackson about it, because Lewis Wolfe was very much part of the posse that drove out the native people from the lands. So you see, the lands, the deeded lands in this valley, there were 4 Mexican land grants. So they had paper deeds. And so the people who held paper deeds thought that they had supremacy over those people whose families had been here for thousands of years. So it's a very, very sad situation. Now, the good thing that came out of Ramona's and Helen Hunt Jackson's conversations is that when Jackson went back to Washington, D.C., she made an appeal for a reservation to be established. And so those people who had been thrown off this land, off the deeded land areas, they were given a place to call their own.
Wow.
And while we would have preferred that their rights to the land would have been respected, it just didn't happen that way. And so the people have done a marvelous job of revitalizing their situation and building the Pechanga group as they did. Before the reservation Pechanga was established, they were called the Temeculans. And then with their reservation name, which means the place of dripping water, then they have, well, you see what they do in our community. They're the first ones to give a handout to people in need. It's really incredible, to the Boys and Girls Club and many other things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of people from Temecula don't even know.
Yes.
You know?
So there's also revealing things that people don't know about. There's a little buzz about there was a Temecula massacre. I want everyone to know that it was not a native and non-native massacre. It was native to native. There were 2 different native groups here that took opposite sides during the Mexican-American War. And because of that, the people to the east of us, the Cahuillas, had gotten the Temeculans to come into the canyon, and then the Temeculans were ambushed and massacred.
Wow.
Yeah.
The cookhouse is closed, obviously.
The cookhouse
We
is
can't
closed
get in
until-
there. But let me
Yeah.
just get some footage
Yes,
of it.
I think we can through the window.
So the cookhouse is now
It's a
little
food
pop-up
hall.
restaurant, or a food hall.
Yeah,
Yes.
a food hall.
You can kind of see it. So there's like maybe 3 or 4, and a
Right.
bar, the
a
Daisy
bar.
bar, it looks like. They're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays,
Yes,
right?
they are.
Okay.
Yes, they are. At least Mondays.
Too bad. I really like their ceviche here.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I
Wow.
make a point to just come out here and eat it.
Yes.
So good.
I love
Probably the best in town.
Yes. I'm so glad to hear it. I'm really fond of the vendors that we have right now. We have the local, which is food prepared specifically for you when you order it. And my favorites are the salmon BLT, lobster tacos, and a chicken pesto flatbread.
That sounds good.
Yeah, they're very good.
That
So
is
we
a
tried
big
to be
tree
really
also.
careful during renovation to save what we could, and then of course we planted a lot.
So this is the space where all the events happen.
Right.
All the flea markets, the
Yes.
carnival. They have like some kind of carnivals, and the car shows. They put on a good car show here. So do the VW buses get on here too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And the little bugs.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah. We have one more historic tree, and that's over in the children's play area. Let's go look over there. So during renovation, the company who did the renovations went to a great expense to do it out of their own pocket, and they received a little bit of payment back for their expenses through local taxes, but they also are managing the property now for the next 30 years and collecting the rents
Oh,
for the people who are vendors here, permanent vendors. And
I like this sign.
yes.
Children must be supervised.
This is, we have 2 sycamore trees here that are original. We lost one, but we're able to save 2. And then the current management company really has a heart for children. And so they've put up this area where they have a little play area.
Oh yeah, I see the little slide over there.
Yeah, it's imaginative. You know, they can walk along the beams, they can interact with this gnarly old tree trunk, you know. And, I just think it's kind of fun. Of course, I love our water tower and our windmill.
Yes,
and I think those have become our iconic symbols for our location.
Yes, that definitely is the iconic symbol of Vail. That's not a real one, right? Is that a real water tower, or like one that
it's a
actually
real
holds?
water tank. We built the tower during renovation. The management company, Artico Partners, constructed that tank. The scaffold for it with our instructions, and we didn't have the tank yet. So this was built. The scaffold was built, and then someone said, "Did you know that there's a real, genuine Vail tank available out in Duluth?" And we didn't know, and we were worried about the size. But look, it just really works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not too big and it's not too small.
Yeah, it looks
And then,
good.
of course, the sign on it was put up after during renovation. Our group had a lawsuit asking to save this when demolition permits were granted. So we had a lawsuit against the county of Riverside and against the multimillionaire developer who was going to bulldoze it and make it modern retail like the Kohl's and the Walmart. That was 1998, and our grand opening here was 2016. And I just have to tell you that in historic preservation, we have to be really patient.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't. My husband and I would look at each other and we'd say, "Are we nuts? Are we nuts?" But he would say, "Yeah, but we need to save this. This is like the heart of our community. We need to tell the stories about the people who were here before us. We need to let the children in our community know why our community is the wonderful place that it is." So we hung in there, didn't give up. And along the way, we collected a lot of fun artifacts like this wagon. Look at this wagon. You ever seen one like that before?
No.
It's just so perfect for here. Look at those wheels. You know, no rubber tires on those wheels. Aren't they something? And you could see how they could, hold a load. Here they could put some 2x4s, and then they could put more wood slats, and that would form sides so that they could throw stuff in there. Or they could just do tie downs like this.
Yes, no climbing, kids. But I love how you have this historical piece here so people can see how, things were delivered.
Yes. Do you see the axle connectors here?
I do see that.
That's how it steers.
Oh,
so it can go
okay.
left or right. All 4 wheels get the information of which way to turn. It's not just, front wheel drive or back wheel drive.
Yeah, very interesting.
Right.
I see you have a stage here.
Yes, and my husband and I were highly honored when they named it the Farnbach stage.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Here we go. It says here the Farnbach stage. That's a cool recognition. Congratulations, Rebecca.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate the recognition.
I love the stage. I just love how classic it looks. It has that like old, West vibe to it with the tin roof.
Right, it goes with the other buildings here on location.
Oh, there we go. It says the Farnbach stage up there.
Yes.
See, I thought it was called the Vail, but then why did I miss that? Is that new?
They hung the signs. It was a really special day. My husband was not able to walk anymore. He was very ill, and we made arrangements for Stu Stewart, who was the mayor at the time, to come pick Daryl up in his little MG car.
Aw.
And it was a surprise, and I knew I was in on it. And then they delivered Daryl here to see, and there was a little ceremony. So
Aw.
it was very nice.
Yeah, congratulations on the recognition. That's really sweet.
There's one building that's not historic, and that's this 2-story building.
Oh, yeah, you could tell that's pretty new.
Yeah, so what is done is the developer who did the restoration needed a little bit more income to pay him back for his expenses. So since he's collecting the rents, right, he needed to build another building to collect more rents from. And we presented him with a photograph of a mule barn that burned down in 1929.
Oh,
and that's what this
and
is.
that's what it looks.
If we come down to this other end, you'll see it a little bit more how the architecture looks like that barn. And by the way, in historic photographs of this red barn, there were pictures of a gas pump. So we found a gas pump and bought it and
I see it
there in the same location. It's weathered a bit.
Well, that's so nice that all these small businesses have taken spots here.
You know, it is, and it's heartwarming to me. It's like a win-win-win. We get to have the historic structures. We had a historic architect who recreated historically accurate, facades. I mean, look at this drain pipe. Doesn't this look historical,
Yes.
And so there are so many little components if you just know where to look. So it's been faithfully recreated. And then we also make a place for businesses to thrive.
Yeah, you have a pottery place here, and it's nice that they're like little independent businesses, not like a Starbucks in here.
Exactly.
Or it's so easy to do with like being in the middle of a shopping center where there's a Walmart and a Kohl's.
Yes.
But it's so nice that this little hidden gem is in between all of that.
And that was purposeful.
Yeah.
We don't have any chains here.
Yeah, no, I love
something
it.
else, talking about that, let's walk over toward Kohl's. I want to show you what they did. So about the time that we had our lawsuit to save this area, one of our members was also appealing to the county of Riverside to have the surrounding retail, meaning not on this property, but the surrounding, look like ranch. So you will see to the right of us, what we can't see at the moment, but Famous Footwear has a barn facade on it. There's a Chinese restaurant over there that has a barn facade on it.
Yeah, I have noticed that further down.
Yes.
I think there's like a storage unit that has like a farm look too, or some kind of tin roof.
Exactly. So let's see if we can get the side of Famous Footwear here, where you can see the barn facade. You can see the little bit of the
I do
red
see
there.
the back of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now let's come this. When we spoke with Kohl's, they said, "Oh no, we don't deviate. We just do the big box thing." Okay, so they did do a couple of flourishes. They put a trellis with corrugated tin over on the side. So that was a nice concession that they made. But what I really love is they said, choose a photograph, any photograph, and we'll enlarge it and we'll make it into a billboard on the side of the building. So we're coming up to it now, and we call this the Magnificent Seven picture. So the story behind this photograph is September 27th of 1949. These cowboys came in from being out working whatever they did, and Earl Stanley Gardner, the famous author who lived just south of Temecula, came by with a camera and he said, "Hey guys, line up." So there they are. It's a really nostalgic thing. All those guys have been gone for a long time, and they have grandchildren and great-grandchildren here.
Wow.
And a couple of them, the two on the far right, their families have been in the Yuma, Arizona area.
Okay.
They come over to visit the picture. I heard one woman talking into her cell phone and saying, and crying and saying, they didn't forget Tio. They have his picture on a billboard in Temecula.
Right?
They didn't forget about him.
Facing the ranch.
Yes. So I love it. And come see their names. There's something powerful about remembering the names of people. So here they are. Reyes Laborin, Rafael Villa, Ben Kane, Joe Gomez, Genaro Bernal, Carlos Reyes, and Prisciliano Labato. How do you say that?
Prisciliano, I think.
Thank you. Yeah, Labato.
Yeah, original cowboys of Temecula here.
Right. So, cattle raising for Walter Vail, who bought the property and the Vail Company owned this property from 1905 until 1964. What they would do is they would buy yearling cattle. That means they're a year old. And because they owned all of the Temecula Valley from here to Clinton Keith Road, over toward Camp Pendleton, past Vail Lake, they owned 87,500 acres.
Wow.
They didn't own the little tiny islands of Old Town and historic Murrieta.
Okay.
But they were surrounded, those two little settlements were surrounded by Vail property. Okay, so all of that grassland was available for the yearlings to grow and feed, and that's, they were grazing. Cost Mr. Vail nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you get more money for the cattle when you sell them, when they're ready to sell, if they weigh more. So, about 2 months before they would get sold, Mr. Vail would bring them, and I'll explain Mr. Vail in a minute. They would bring them over to the feedlot over there, which we see in the picture here.
I see.
Do you see how there are cattle behind the slats in the fence there?
Yeah.
They are fed a high calorie diet of barley and oats and molasses to fatten them up more than the calories that they got on the grasslands.
Oh.
So when they go to market, they weigh more. Now there's a funny story. There was a field that had onions harvested, and the cattle were turned out on it, and they ate all the remainders of, the leftover onion, greenery and so on. And then they were shipped to market. And the Cudahy Meat Company informed the Vail Company, don't ever, ever, ever sell us cattle that have eaten onions again. Because it kept, the smell was retained in the meat afterward.
Well, usually onion gives it flavor.
Right. But I guess it was pretty strong.
Oh, wow.
Pretty strong.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So that's the way the cattle business went. Okay, so I told you about Mr. Vail. Honestly, Mr. Walter Vail, who was the main businessman behind the purchase of all the land, he passed away. He was in a streetcar accident in Los Angeles about a year after the land was purchased. He never really lived here. But the Vail Company, which was comprised of his children, his 7 children, and his wife, kept up the property until 1964. His son, Malon, was the one who was mainly in charge of the Temecula property. And they had properties all over the United States and in Argentina. We were given by a shopping center that was getting rid of them. And they had like a whole display throughout their parking lot.
Oh.
So we just...
Wait, what are these?
Pardon? I don't know what they are. I think this has something to do with water valves. And they wouldn't have been on a wagon.
Huh.
And then, okay, this is a hay wagon. And we picked that up in Murrieta. It was on a hillside. Murrieta Hot Springs Road. And you know how there's like a little park, and then there's an open lot, and then there are buildings? It was up on a hill there. And so we actually hauled that, with a big truck.
It looks like it was like a flatbed, right?
Yeah.
For transporting.
And do you see the handle there? That's the brakes.
Yeah.
That's the brakes. So where the guy would sit. And then I think it's kind of interesting to see the turning mechanism here. and the size of the wheels.
What's the story of the bell?
Oh, that is a school bell, and it's actually from Texas, but it would have been typical on a ranch. I'll show you the real bell that is from the ranch. But yeah, it's just a neat old bell that symbolizes a time. I remember as a kid in the 1950s, we'd go to a camp, and at the camp for mealtime, they had a bell like that would be rung and call us for meals.
Oh, I see the bell.
Yeah, so that's the original one.
Oh, okay.
That's the original one that called the cowboys to their meals.
For the cookhouse.
For the cookhouse.
There we go. The original bell.
Yes.
Oh, look at that mountain view over there.
Isn't it
gorgeous? Would that be Pachanga's reservation, that area?
Pachanga is over that way.
Oh, Pachanga, excuse me.
Yeah. And that's Palomar Mountain.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, that would have been all their territory at one time, you know?
So here you can have like a glass of wine. There's a new winery, or what is a wine tasting place there?
There's
Pizza
a brewery
place.
back behind it.
Oh, yeah, I've been there once.
Your foreman's house, caretaker's house. So he was the boss of all the cowboys, and he lived here. This house has been moved. During the lawsuit, we only received 4 acres for restoration. It used to sit on the other side of the sycamores by the playground.
Cute house.
It's adorable. You know what? Let's go up and let you look in.
Well, Temecula doesn't have a lot of historical old buildings like this, so this is a pretty unique building for the area.
Hello.
Wow, they really restored it nicely in here.
And it's the original floors, and that built-in cabinet is original. I personally made sure that the built-in cabinet stayed. And you've probably been in pizza.
Yes, I've had their pizza, the pesto pizza. It has pesto in it. That one's really good.
I build my own usually, and it's fun.
Yeah, nice little spot to have your
Yes.
pizza. Bring the family. At Vail Pizzeria.
Maybe we should have cordoned off because that's, you know, kids were like monkeying with some of the machines.
So is this a hands-on area for the kids?
Not really.
No, okay.
To look at.
Just to look at, okay. So here's some equipment from back in the day, some machinery. Well, it's really nice to have this all displayed right next to these cool little restaurants nearby.
Oh, we didn't have graffiti here until about last week, and look at all of that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
Oh wow. Well, I was able to take a picture of my dog in front of this
okay.
a few years ago.
Good.
I remember doing that.
Okay. Let's see if I can open this.
Daryl's garage. Ooh, is Daryl gonna get mad that we're sneaking in? Oh, and they have a little stage there too, probably for entertainment, music. Very nice. We're going over here to a historical area where they turned it into a brewery. So is this also, this is a new building, right? Or is this historical
Here's what
also?
happened. This building over here is the historical part, and this was built on.
This was built on, okay.
This part didn't sit here originally. It was actually behind where Coles is now.
Oh, I see.
During our lawsuit, it didn't fit on the property, the 4 acres. So the developer dismantled it, numbered every board, and 7 years later built it back accurately. We're delighted to have it. So we had, and I say we, and I don't mean we, I mean the developer, but we were involved in approving all the plans and suggesting some of the plans. This building was built adjacent to it to provide a little bit more square footage and income for the property.
Okay, so what's in there?
So
oh, that's the winery.
That's part of the wine tasting room.
Oh.
It goes all the way back. The dress shop is right here. That used to be the payroll office of the ranch back in the Vail days. And this was their machinery barn. Yeah, let's go around here.
Here's another wagon.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. So here's a nice little spot where you can come in and have a beer.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's nice and cool in here. Wow.
I'm giving a tour. I'm Rebecca, the Historical Society.
I'm Jake.
Hi, Jake.
The brewer here.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Carolina.
Hi, Jake. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm just recording Rebecca regarding the historical part of Vail headquarters. So,
I have to feature you guys.
yeah. Yeah. Cool. How long have you guys been here?
Under this name, a little over a year, probably like a year and a half.
Okay.
It was Temecula Brewing Company before for 4 or 5 years, maybe.
They never really opened. You know, they were very...
Yeah, I was never around.
Yeah. So most of the brewing happens here, or?
All of it.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's exciting to have a little brewery in the historical area.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And as you can see, they're doing a historic theme.
Yeah. Very nice.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't want to go now because it's nice and cool in here.
I know, I got the AC pumping just
Thank you.
Thank you. So the barrier, this building provides a sound barrier so you can have entertainment in both places. But this is nice to sit around.
Yeah, I love it. This is a nice bar too.
Yeah.
Nice little bar area.
Space.
Thanks for watching the video with Rebecca Farnbach at Vail headquarters. It was nice to have a little personal tour, but I highly recommend checking that place out if you haven't been, especially with all the beautiful events they have going on. If you want to learn more with what the Historical Society does in Temecula, please check out temeculahistory.org. You can find out information about museums, hours, and even tours. Also, I'm going to have a follow-up podcast with Maya, who happens to be an event coordinator there for many, many events. So hopefully you guys have a chance to check out some of the events we talk about as well. On another note, this is my first upload on this channel. So if there's any information or details or advice that you have about this video, this channel on YouTube or the podcast, please send me a message. Feel free to make any comments, reach out to me. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hopefully we can continue with creating more content that is valuable to the community. Thank you.